Well, I've explored Ur-Quan space as well as I thought I could. I've gone to all the Aquaria systems and I haven't been able to find any way to talk to them about the Ultron. I'm going to run out of fuel soon, so at least that means I can encounter the Moby. But might as well head to the... Oh dear. These guys won't stop talking to me even though they've got nothing to say. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm heading... Oh, for the fuck's sake. They keep coming up to me to tell me to leave them alone. Considering attacking these guys just to make them shut up. Okay. So I'm going to head that way and avoid these bastards until my fuel runs out, and then they're going to keep talking to me. In any event, I'm going to get some more fuel off the Moby. Check out the soup box. Here they are.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. I've got the location of a rainbow world.
Your ship's lost.
That's good. And some... Whoa, look how much credits I've got. I could probably purchase everything I've got now.
Great items.
Let's fill up my fuel tanks. And I guess I'll buy some information.
How wonderful, Captain.
Useful data on alien races, please.
The Slilandro are a mostly non-solid, sentient race who live in a gas giant at Beta Cori. We recently sold them a self-replicating exploration probe.
I know.
Which has somehow turned hostile and attacks everything it detects. If such encounters have angered you, Captain, please do not address your concerns to us. We possess a formal waiver of damages authorized by Slilandro Speaker and are in no way responsible for the situation.
In no way? Sure. Anyway, more data, please.
Cowardly Staffy live at the single planet orbiting Epsilon.
I know.
Roots. They do not actually live on their world, rather they reside on its
more
endless
out-of-date
moon.
information.
The reason? A xenomorphic species which craves the sweet-flavored flesh of the Staffy has been transported to the surface of their planet and makes every attempt to devour the poor Staffy. I'm certain that the Staffy would be forever in your debt if you were to eliminate the...
Yeah. I know.
Like you Earthlings, when the war with the Ur-Quan was lost, the Cyrene chose to be slave-shielded.
You told me this already.
Their new world is at Betelgeuse. The Cyrene starbase is crewed by the starship commanders and crew who were decommissioned at the end of the war. Though the Cyrene hate the Ur-Quan with a vengeance, they are unlikely to offer you assistance unless you reveal to them the truth behind the tragedy of their original homeworld, Syra, which was destroyed by the birth of a Mycon Deep child a century ago.
I know, but I need proof.
When the Ur-Quan entered Gamma Serpentis, the home star of the Yehat, their queen made a sudden change of allegiance and allied with the Ur-Quan hierarchy. They became Ur-Quan combat thralls. This act was viewed by most Yehat starship officers as ultimately dishonorable, the desperate act of a corrupt regent to maintain her throne. The Yehat shame was greatly magnified by the Shofixti's show of courage when they destroyed their own star system to slow down the Ur-Quan armada. Captain, you have heard all that we have to say about aliens indigenous to this region. Should we learn more in the near future, we shall be certain to sell it to you.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it's just historical information for me then.
Just over 20,000 years ago, when your ancestors were learning to chart the course of the moon and stars on animal horns, the sentient milieu spanned 500 light years and included the membership of 100 worlds. Like all other star travelers, they had discovered ruins and relics of a far more ancient culture, which your species calls the precursors. Explorers from many species spent their lives trying to piece together this ancient mystery, but of all races, the Ur-Quan were the most bold adventurers. Their scouts, flying single ships, penetrated far into uncharted space and landed a million worlds. On one such mission, a young Ur-Quan made planetfall on a small, life-bearing alien world to identify some anomalous energy readings, occasionally a sign of precursor installations. Instead, the Ur-Quan found a small, hideous creature, a Dinyari. Before the scout was able to defend itself, the Dinyari creature took control of the Ur-Quan's mind and commanded the scout to place the Dinyari aboard the Ur-Quan's ship, along with hundreds of its evil brood. Then, the Ur-Quan returned to the heart of the milieu, landing on its capital planet. Within hours, every resident of the planet was a Dinyari slave. Within a month, Dinyari compelled starships and spread the evil, psychic creatures across the entire milieu.
The hell?
When the Dinyari took control of the milieu, one race fought back, the Ta'el. These slow, quiet creatures were silicon-based life forms, but bore little resemblance to the modern Chenjesu. Ta'elo were natural immunes to the Dinyari's psychic compulsion. They were unaffected by the creature's power, and the Dinyari would not permit anyone to exist outside their control. So they ordered the remaining races of the milieu to attack and destroy the Ta'elo home planet. This planet was one of the few milieu worlds located in this region of space. I believe you call their star Delta Vulpeculae.
Wait a minute.
Their home was a moon revolving about the second planet. I'm sad to say that the Ta'elo were indeed
That's an Oz world.
eliminated.
They called it the Ta'elo Playground.
At the time of their devastation, they had completed a device which they thought would give other races psychic immunity like their own. What happened to this device, this shield? It's hard to say. Maybe it was destroyed in the attack on their homeworld. Maybe not. In the Dinyari's new empire, the Ur-Quan were the favored slaves. This is probably because the Ur-Quan were the most psychically sensitive, the most easily compelled. As the centuries of Dinyari dominance passed, what was once the sentient milieu deteriorated and degenerated into a great galactic gulag. Alien races which did not serve with the efficiency and speed demanded by the Dinyari were ruthlessly burned from the faces of their worlds. The agents of this genocide were inevitably the Dinyari's favorite pet, the Ur-Quan. After almost 2,500 years of unrelenting Dinyari control, there were only 4 living member races of the once great sentient milieu. By this point, the Dinyari had used genetic manipulation to split the Ur-Quan into 2 subspecies. The green Ur-Quan. Scientists technicians and administrators who were responsible for maintaining the limited infrastructure of the Dinyari civilization, and the Black Ur-Quan, who filled the ranks of basic laborer and combat soldier. Then, a chance discovery by an Ur-Quan named Kazerza led to the violent overthrow of the Dinyari slave empire.
You'd think the Ur-Quan would understand the pain of slavery after living through it for so many centuries.
The Ur-Quan named Kazerza was a Green, a researcher specializing in repairing the mental damage inflicted by long-term exposure to the Dinyari's psychic compulsion. By this point in history, the Dinyari had grown lax in their dominance, and on occasion accidentally permitted their slaves moments of self-direction. Kazerza was able to use those few scattered minutes to compose a theory. From its observations, Kazerza realized that when a slave died, the Dinyari disconnected from the slave's mind, lest it too be dragged down to death. Further, the Ur-Quan scientist uncovered the fact that when a slave underwent great pain, the Dinyari temporarily disconnected, but that the degree of pain had to be extreme, nearly lethal. Kazerza chose its moment carefully. It waited until it was near an open transmission unit. Then, in a short moment of mental freedom, the Ur-Quan injected itself with a dose of acidic poison, sending incredible waves of pain through its long body. In the few moments before its death, Kazerza was able to wrest control of the transmitter to send word of its discovery across the planet and into space as well. Before the Dinyari knew what was happening, Ur-Quan everywhere were hacking at their own bodies with chunks of glass, burning themselves horribly, doing anything that would give them the few seconds of freedom necessary to find the nearest Dinyari and crush the bleeding creature. As they gained longer and longer periods of control, the Ur-Quan developed new tools and weapons to destroy their evil masters. The most gruesome of these devices was the excruciator, a mechanism which was inserted directly into the brain and generated a constant stream of agony.
Fucking hell.
The Dinyari could not bring themselves to make the necessary mental connection with these tortured Ur-Quan. They were slaughtered by the thousands. The Ur-Quan slave revolt was won.
The Ur-Quan would put themselves through that to release themselves from slavery. How can they not understand our need for freedom?
When the last Ur-Quan was free of psychic compulsion, when the last free Dinyari was dead, the combined might of the Ur-Quan starfleets met in orbit above the Dinyari homeworld. They had come together to make two important decisions. First, how to punish the few frightened Dinyari left below on the planet's surface. Second, how to ensure that never again would the Ur-Quan be made slaves.
By being the masters.
The first decision was made swiftly. The Dinyari would not be allowed to die. That was too kind of fate. Instead, the creatures would be genetically modified into sub-sentience. They would become
They're the talking
dumb
pets.
animals. These low creatures would be further debased by serving the Ur-Quan for all eternity in the most demeaning way the Ur-Quan could imagine, acting as translators,
Right.
making physical contact with other species, whom the Ur-Quan now considered grossly inferior to themselves and revolting. The second decision, how to ensure their freedom permanently, caused great turmoil.
Let me guess. The green Ur-Quan wanted to enslave everybody else, and the black Ur-Quan wanted to kill everybody else.
Following the successful Ur-Quan slave revolt, the Ur-Quan met to decide how to ensure their freedom. The green Ur-Quan, who called themselves the Kazert-Za in honor of the Ur-Quan who triggered the revolt, wished to establish the path of now and forever, which required that all other sentient species must become slaves of the Ur-Quan or be forever imprisoned beneath an impenetrable force shield. Leading the opposition to this plan was Korra, a charismatic fleet officer. Korra proposed a simpler alternative, the Eternal Doctrine. Simply put, this scheme called for the systematic eradication of all sentient life in the universe, aside from the Ur-Quan. Captain, if these positions seem to you extreme or unwarranted,
Yes, they do.
you must remember that the Ur-Quan had been unwilling slaves for millennia, and that each of them had to remain in agony for years in order to defeat the Dinyari. The followers of Kazert-Za and Korra were all on the brink of madness,
Doesn't justify
but neither
anything.
side would submit, and so they fought a bloody civil war. This is the last historical item we have for sale. The civil war between the green Ur-Quan, the followers of Kazert-Za, and their opponents, the death-dealing Korra, lasted for decades. It is likely that they would have annihilated each other were it not for a chance discovery by Kazert-Za, a precursor battleship.
Right.
The vessel was huge, many times the size of the
Sumatra.
Ur-Quan's vessels. The precursor ship sliced through the Korra forces in days. The Korra were defeated. However, in their victory, the Kazert-Za were humble. They realized that there was a chance that they were wrong, and the Korra were right. Instead of destroying the Korra, the Kazert-Za let them go, directing them to make their way through the stars, traveling against the spin of the galaxy. The Kazert-Za would travel in the opposite direction, and when the two Ur-Quan forces met, they would fight again in ritual combat, with the precursor battleship given to the winner. Captain, this is happening here and now. The Kazert-Za, the Ur-Quan who enslaved her, are fighting their ritual battle against the Korra in a large area centered near the Craterus constellation. If the Korra win this battle, Captain, the Kazert-Za will stand aside and let them kill us all.
Fuck.
We believe it is your destiny to prevent this from happening. We regret to say that you have exhausted our supply of genuinely valuable information. However, we do have many thousands of useless facts, and that we will gladly sell you at a substantial discount. Are you interested? We thought not.
Okay, I'm done for now.
It has been a pleasure dealing with you, Captain. We look forward to your next visit.
So I guess they're just going to be fuel dealers from now on.